Okay, today we are discussing it's a difficult topic. There's so much misinformation on this, and there's a lot of new research, which I'm going to be discussing about this topic as well. And that is comparing 4 to 6 small meals versus intermittent fasting. Which one is better? What's happening with both of them? And then deciding which one do you want to do, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about which this one is, talk about what this is, talk about the parameters that would affect each of these, and then you guys get to decide what you think is better, okay? Because I'm not talking to everybody here. I'm talking to men, to women, to age differences, to whether you're in perimenopause and menopause, whether you're a guy or a woman that's just had a baby. All of these factors are going to affect all that, okay? So what you're treating a teenager with the hormones rating and the growth hormone way up there and tons of muscle mass at 15 and 16 is not the same as when I'm talking to a 50-year-old man or a 45-year-old man or a 60-year-old man. All of these things have to come into play. But I want you to be informed about what happens when you do this and what happens when you do that, so that you have more information. So you're armed with information. You're not just hearing all these things and trying to figure out what's going on, okay? I will give you what I do, and I will talk about why I do that at the very end. So I am going to give you some information in terms of from my perspective and from my husband's, all right? So first thing, 4 to 6 small meals. That's a really popular thing going on right now, where you have breakfast, you have lunch, you have dinner, and then you'll have maybe a small snack in between breakfast and lunch, or you'll have a small snack between lunch and dinner, and then maybe a snack right before bed, okay? So the first thing I want you to know is this is given fact. Everybody knows this. The moment you consume a meal, so let's say the moment you have breakfast, when you eat, your body does one thing immediately. It releases insulin. That is a given. The thing that most people do not know is once insulin is released, your body now has glycogen swimming around, and as we talked about before, once you have that happening, your body will not lose fat. And what I mean by lose fat, it means use your own fat. So it's important to know, the moment you eat, whatever time of day it is, the moment you eat, if it's 6 in the morning, if it's 8 in the morning, it's 9, it's 10, it's 12, it's 1, the moment you eat, your body goes poof, and insulin gets released, okay? So that's an important factor. So if your goal is to lose a whole bunch of weight, 4 to 6 small meals is not the option to take. The reason for that is you are setting off breakfast, insulin gets released. Snack, insulin gets released. Lunch, insulin gets released. Snack, insulin gets released. Dinner, insulin gets released. Late night snack, insulin gets released. Can you see that that's a problem? Now, where that's not a problem is if you're a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old guy, you're trying desperately to put on muscle, you're working really hard, you're running around all the time, you need 4 to 6 smaller meals to get all that going in. If that's what your goal is, to give yourself energy, if weight loss is not a factor, if you're trying to bulk up. When you're trying to bulk up, in fact, bodybuilders will wake themselves up in the middle of the night to feed themselves. Crazy, I know. They'll actually eat even more than 4 to 6 small meals because they're trying to build muscle. They're trying to get more calories in that are more beneficial, and 4 to 6 smaller meals are the way to go. But not if you're trying to lose weight. If you're trying to lose weight, that's a problem, especially if you're trying to lose the kind of weight from after having had a baby. If you're trying to lose the weight and you are older and you have a sluggish metabolism, all of these factors, women, that means anytime after the age of 35, 36, your muscle mass is decreasing, your growth hormone is decreasing. So implementing this is going to cause problems. If you're borderline hypoglycemia, if you're pre-diabetic, holy, now it's even causing more problems. Why? Because we're screwing up with the insulin. Up and down, never knows what's going to happen. Injection of insulin. So this is important for you to understand what I'm talking about here. There are places for this, but you need to know what it is that's going to be best for you, okay? So 4 to 6 small meals. When you eat, the body releases insulin. You will not lose fat if you are burning insulin, okay? Breaking it down, basic, simple, cut and dry. Okay, intermittent fasting. This is becoming more and more of a rage. A lot of research that has been done in the last few years in particular are showing phenomenal results. Phenomenal. So here's a little chart. Okay, here's a basic diet. That's showing what your body will do in terms of going into ketosis. Remember we talked about ketosis before and how you're trying to get your body into a ketosis where your body will be burning your own fat as a fuel source, as opposed to glycogen, which is what this is when you get the insulin release from the body. Here, you're preventing that by doing this. So, if you're on a keto diet, you're going to be losing even more. So let's say the mark is here. That's where that goes through. Generally speaking, now all of a sudden you have better capacity, okay? When you do intermittent fasting, get ready for this? That's how much more fat burning potential you have. Way more, okay? All right, so what does that look like, Heidi? I want you to work backwards, and I want you to think about what is your feeding time, okay? So if I'm going on a 24-hour cycle, I want a feeding time of between 6 to 4 hour window. Now, why do I say that? Here, to get those phenomenal results, was reached at the 18 time frame. 18 hours. Bang! Incredible. 20 hours, it went even more. So that's why I say 6 to 4 hour window. The beauty of it is you're sleeping, for some of you, 8 to 10 hours of that. Or you're not really eating as soon as you wake up, and you're not really eating right before you go to bed. So that window of time becomes much more optimal. Now, I do recommend that you start off, if you've never done it before, and if you're worried about the blood, glycemia, and can you handle this and what's going to happen, start off like I talked about in a previous video where I talk about I started off eating, if I ate breakfast at the dinner at 6 o'clock, I would go and not eat before 6 o'clock. So it was 12 hours. So I was doing a 12-hour fast. And then I worked up to 13 hours. I added on 1 more hour. And then it became 14 hours. This is over a course of time of a week to 2 weeks. If you don't have any problem with it, then jump right away into 14, 15, whatever you can, up to eventually 18 to 20 hours, okay? The reason for this is that it allows you more flexibility. That's the first thing. The second thing is it is actually going to get you having more in a ketosis state. And when you're in a ketosis state, you have better energy, you have better brain power, you have better fuel source. Here, you can tend to go up and down, up and down, up and down in terms of energy. Some people crash because they need a sugar fix, which is fruit or whatever drink. You need to be aware that this can be influenced by all of that. So, if your goal is to lose weight, if your goal is to get your metabolism going, if your goal is to get your blood pressure under wraps, get your insulin levels under wrap, much, much better course to take. So it's important for you guys to know that there is a difference between small meals and intermittent fasting, okay? Now, I like to do my intermittent fasting following a keto diet, but you don't have to do that. You can have it be that you did your intermittent fasting and your 1 meal of the day. Like my window of time could be 2 o'clock, so 2 to 6 o'clock. So my first meal would be at 2 o'clock. It's a 4-hour window. I have a small little meal at 2, and then I have my dinner at like 6. And that's a window of 4 hours. And I've consumed my calories within that time frame, and I'm not going crazy waiting for food. And I'm eating quite a lot at dinner. That allows you to have flexibility. That allows you most likely to be able to have more carbs at your dinner time. And for some of you, that's very important. That's what you want. As opposed to having your carbs first thing in the morning, setting yourself off all day. This also works really great for people that have very busy schedules. This is also really great for people that work shift work. So I tell you, from the last time you ate, you just count it all out. Once you get to that 18 hours to 20 hours, that's when your next meal goes. And I try to have your next meal start off with a fat coffee. Very good for your brain, very good for your body, and making sure you're drinking your water as well, getting that water in. So I'm hoping this has made sense to you, that you can look at it. As I said before, Mark and I, this is what we do. Today, my first meal today was at 4 o'clock. Mark's was a little bit sooner. His was like 1:32, and he had some coconut bark that I'd made, and then we had our dinner. Well, actually about 4:30, sorry. And that works really well for me. I really like it. It's especially good for all of you that have indulged over the holidays and you've had far too much sugar and your body and maybe your brain is going through all that. This will help set you straight and get your body feeling better very quickly. Okay? As I said before, if you're an athlete, you're trying to put on muscle, you're younger, you're in your late teens or early 20s, this might work for you, but if weight loss is a factor, it's not, and now you know the reason why. Now you know the reason why you may have been doing this madly, exercising madly, not getting results. Far better results are going to happen from here. So share this, pass this on, give it a like on YouTube. Let me know if you're liking and enjoying it so I can do more along there. If you have any questions or you want more information on what I've said, just message me down below on there, whether it's on Facebook or it's on YouTube, and then I'll make a point of dealing and addressing those questions then. All right, so take care. Hope you guys had a great New Year's. Looking forward to carrying on with the new stuff this next year.